Hi, my name is Seth Fisher, and welcome to my final presentation for MAP 211 Meditation and Art. What I'm going to be tackling in this presentation is the correlation between martial arts and meditation, particularly in the Chito-Ryu karate style. However, the thing that I'm going to be tackling that's more interesting is I'm going against the concept that a meditative state and a flow state are not compatible with each other. Now, what I want to bring attention to is the fact that in martial arts in particular, what you are doing is conditioning yourself repeatedly in meditative states to allow yourself to enter a flow state more consistently. So while a flow state is not something that you can enter intentionally, you can create conditions which allow yourself to slip into that state easier through autonomous movement that is created through conditioning yourself through meditation and training. It's a very big mouthful to talk about, but it'll make more sense once you guys can see it in action. So, without further ado, I'm going to move into some demonstrations now of what things look like when you're doing them in a meditative aspect, and then I'm going to show what it will look like when a flow state takes over after you have met those conditions that are required for you to enter that state. So, firstly, in many martial arts, and especially in Chito-Ryu style karate, there is something that is known as kata, which is a form of meditation in and of itself. I'm going to firstly demonstrate the first kata that will be available to you if you were to study this style. It is known as Kyondo Seichi, and I want you to watch how I do these movements. I'm going to make them slow, I'm going to make them noticeable, and I'm going to exaggerate them. This is not a refined movement. A refined movement will be shown later. So, to start, there's always an opening stance, but I want you to watch my breathing. Now, I'm going to omit the entire second half of the kata because you're actually going to do that an entire second time just with the other arm. Now, that's not necessary for this demonstration. I'm going to show it again. I'm going to focus as hard as I can on the movements that I know. I'm going to allow myself to feel the adrenaline that martial arts allows you to feel. I'm going to envision myself facing an opponent whilst I do this. And then I'm going to let my body go. There's a dog, don't worry about that. See, that's how easily a flow state can be interrupted. Those last two movements, I lost focus. So in particular, that is what kata is used for. We're going to move on to another demonstration now. It's going to take place over there. So, that is how kata can be used in a meditative sense and how it is taken into a flow state. Now, that flow state can go even deeper in senses of a competition, where, for example, you're competing for medals. You're up against people of a higher level than you. That is where the chart in which a flow state is met by conditions which require your skill level to be at a certain level and your skill level are interchanging with each other. Now, that flow state can be met consistently in martial arts through this conditioning of yourself. There is something that is known as the 27 hand movements. It is this. You start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Now you might notice that those all look like moves that you might see somebody do in a kata. For example, there is other ones such as that is Empi Kihon Dosa. It is an elbow kata. It is focused entirely on the elbows. Now, what a kata is it's to train your body to condition yourself for a certain scenario. Where I'm imagining, let's go with this one. This one takes place with an opening punch, 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 punch. If I was to envision that, imagine this pole as a person. Now, this pole is coming towards me, so I have to meet it in the middle. I have to keep moving. I have to keep moving. We're going to move on to the next part now. Alright, so in martial arts, another very important aspect to the correlation between martial arts and meditation is grounding yourself. Now, there are specific stances that correlate to specific meanings in martial arts. For example, with your knees bent, pivoted inwards, and toes at about a 45-degree angle inward, this is known as Uchiha Shidachi. And what this stance represents is readiness. It's readiness to strike. From here, you can step back. From here, you can step forward. You can go to the side. This stance here is for low targets. This is for power. Or it's for distraction. Now, all of these stances and all of these different positions have different meaning. And that's what martial arts is entirely as a whole. I know I've tried to reiterate this multiple times, but what martial arts truly is conditioning your body, conditioning your mind, and conditioning every part of yourself to be reactive to certain situations in a certain way. And when that happens is when this flow state takes over. So, if you create the conditions which allow you to enter the flow state, you cannot choose to manually enter that flow state. But what you can do is create a situation, a circumstance, or set yourself up to enter it much easier and consistently than others. Thank you. Now, a concept that I tackled in my second journal entry was the concept of risking failure. Now, this is a surreal concept, and it's very dear to me because that is precisely what I'm doing right now. It has always been a dream of mine to instruct this sort of stuff in some way with my understanding of it, and having the opportunity in this class to put this spin on it and to teach it to hopefully some people who will understand martial arts in a new light, and that it's not just, guys beating each other up, and that it has a lot deeper purpose, a lot deeper meaning, and how it can be meditative. That would be wonderful. So risking failure and putting myself out there in a way that I could misinterpret or misportray what I'm trying to portray to you guys, that is a challenge for myself, and that is something that I talked about in my second journal entry. The video that inspired me to tackle this concept for my final project was a video that was seen in class about 2 weeks ago. It was discussing flow state altogether, and it opened with a man talking about the parallels between how a flow state can be entered by playing video games, and how you can create conditions which allow you to enter a flow state. Now, what I'm talking about here is how you can create conditions to almost rapidly enter a flow state when doing martial arts, because when your body starts to move on its own, that's what I've been told as a martial artist, that you're doing things right. Once these movements start to become snappy, they start to become quick, you don't have to think about them. If you're in a match of kumite, which is competition, fighting against somebody, you don't have to think, am I going to block? Am I going to do this? Am I going to counterattack? It just happens. And that's what martial arts is conditioning your body and your mind to reach a point where everything is instinctual, everything is reactive, and everything that you've honed in on yourself can fly out of your body at any moment. So my argument is that martial arts as a whole is what a flow state represents, and a flow state represents exactly what martial arts is a better way to say that. I think that it's a very unique way to look at things through a more scientific lens, when there is a spiritual and cultural and historical martial arts lens that things are looked through, that I could tackle in much more depth. But if anybody is interested in learning more about that, please contact me, and I would love to share that sort of information with you.
for this presentation, I just want to say that that is the correlation between martial arts and meditation, is everything.